Hello everybody, this is Golden Star 1, and today I'm going to show you guys how to actually make your own fire or ice flower plush. Now, I have actually already created a kit, a layout kit. You have to make sure you download, which is linked in the description below. And for the case of the fire flower and ice flower, you'll have specific colors you'll need. Or if you want to make your own kind of unique flower, or maybe make yourself a gold flower, which is all the variations of it, you'll have different guides to go for. The face would have to be kind of changed entirely for those other guides, and for right now, this is just for the fire flower and ice flower. Now, because I actually made the fire flower using this kit, I'm actually going to make an ice flower. This is also part way for a little gift from my sister. So, first for colors you'll actually need. For the case of the ice flower, you're going to need basically the following color felts: blue, light blue, white, green, lime green, a bit of darker, lighter green, and also some black. That's all you're going to need for color felts. Here it is right here. Here is the flower. All the pieces are cut out. Make sure you cut them all out first and foremost before you start sewing. You're also going to need the following color threads: blue, light blue, green, black, and white. Or if you want to switch around doing the fire flower, you're going to need red and yellow thread. Finally, you're also going to need some stuffing, scissors, and pins and needles. Let's begin. First, you're going to be sewing these two black pieces onto the part of the face, onto the white part of the face. This is actually part of the front of the face. This part is going to be relatively easy. This is actually one of the easier plushies you guys can make. I would say it's like a level of, like, say, a Goomba. Or even a Boo. Minus the eyebrows. My Boo still do not have eyebrows. Which is kind of a funny thing. You can use a pin to maybe pin the eye parts on there. Make it easier for you. But that's your focus. Pin and sew, and then use your various sewing techniques that you've learned from other plush videos that have been done, that probably other YouTubers who have done these guides will have showed you. I'm going to show you a bit of it in progress. This is what it looks like. I'm going to start sewing right here, showing the left eye. Then I'll show you an update of what it looks like when it's done. Sewing with black is not going to be easy. Oh crap, lost the thread a little bit. But make sure you go around all the way around for both the eyes, and then when you're done, seal it off, and that's it. That's all we need the black for. You only need the black thread just for the eyes. Likewise for the white. The bulk of the thread we'll be using will be the blue and the green. That's where most of the thread's going to be going. In and out, like so. And then just go all the way around to reach the end of the eye to the other side. And there you go. Now for the time lapse. And there you go. that's the face. Now we're gonna go ahead actually and sew this light blue part using the white thread over top of the face like this. Use your pins and needles actually to lock it in place and then sew around it. Now you can put a little bit of felt inside here and it will actually make it a bit more thick. That's what I kind of did a little bit for here, but you don't have to. It's not recommended, it's optional. But don't go too much thread in there. Don't put too much felt in there, otherwise you might end up with something that might look like, say, this. You know, a big thick one right here, big thick flower. And it's also the same thing as well with the dark blue part, of which if you do it like that, you might get something really, really wacky like that. Like a really 3D flower. You only need to put just a tiny bit of felt in there, or you don't have to put any at all. And we use the white thread for sewing around this side of it. Use the same strategies as you did before with the eyes, and then just sew in and out and go around the circle. Be careful you don't get any like knots thread. That is probably one of the more annoying parts about sewing. And they are not funny. Now go all the way around with the hole right here. And if you want to put a little felt in there, you can grab a little bit and then just stuff it in there. But wait until you get all the way around. Once you've got at least more than 2/3 of the sewing around, or at least hit little parts on there, you can then kind of take the needles out, as you only really need them for like just to hold it in place. Now you'll probably be doing it actually by looking at it directly. I'm trying to show you what it looks like from, I guess, in my point of view from the back side, because normally you'll see it like this, and you'll be sewing from the front. I'm gonna show you from like this point of view, so you can at least kind of see it being done. Yeah, be as good. And actually, go ahead and actually, if you ever get to make this yourself, go ahead and oops. Also thread. Go ahead and show me what you've actually done with this. I'm kind of curious to see how you guys make it. Actually, if you did your own variations. Heck, maybe build like a thunder flower. A flower has this little properties that give him Mario and Luigi thunder orbs, thunder balls. Just keep at it until you get all the way around the thing. And just like before, here's the results. Now this next part, you're gonna put the big blue part onto right here, just like this. Now at this point, you're actually gonna need some felts, and I want you to kind of put a little bit around there. Don't put too much. You don't want to overstuff it. Just enough to where it bulges out just a little bit. And that should be relatively easy to do. And we'll use the exact same techniques using the light blue thread. Just like the black and white, and just like the face as well, you'll use the light blue thread to then go ahead and sew that part of the face on there. Only this time, once you're done, before you finish, you're gonna need to make sure to at least fill up a little hole for this part right there. As your focus is to make sure you have a little bit of space left over, so you can kind of stuff a little bit of felt in there. Not a whole lot, just enough. Here's a good question I'm gonna ask you guys. Which flower do you guys like better? Fire or ice? Hot or cold? Which is better? Which is cooler? Which is hotter? You're gonna go all the way around, and then when you get near the end, you're gonna stuff a little bit of stuffing in there, so at least it kind of sort of develops it a little bit. I know, I almost got a knot. Those knots are evil. And now you go all the way around. I'll see you in a bit. And here we are. Here are the results of the face. Now you're gonna go put it over top like this on the other dark blue piece. So using the dark blue thread, go all the way around, and when you're done, flip it inside out, stuff and finish, and that'll be the head. Yep. And basically sew all the way around before you reach the end, stuff, and then you go ahead and finish it off. At this point in time, doesn't matter which side I show you because you're not going to see any part of the face up until the point I do flip it inside out. Just be careful of not getting any knots. You do not want those knots. The reason why I should make this guide in particular was that also, I did see on the internet though, there weren't really many fire flower guides, or like any like, I don't want to say they were bad, they were decently done, but I didn't see any like cool, unique fire or ice flower plush guides. So I decided to make my own, using actually a picture of a fire flower and then just kind of just copying it with, brief edits though, just removing the color. And also, why not? Make them one of the iconic flowers in the Mario franchise. They've always done mushrooms and stars. What about the fire flower? That's one that has not gotten enough unique custom plush designs. And time to change that. And also in my room, I actually have two fire flowers and ice flowers hanging up in front of my door to my room. So it's kind of nice to actually have my own custom ones I can like hold around in my hand. I'll see you when I get near all the way around and have a bit of a whole space for the stuffing. Now we flip this inside out. And then stuff the head in with some stuffing and then seal it. Make sure you put enough stuffing in the plush. You want there to be enough stuffing in there so that it fills up the entire thing. Because this one right here I've done before, there's a bit of a push to the side a little bit, so there's not enough stuffing in there. Definitely could have put more in this one. But don't put too much in there so it feels like you're making like a ball. Just make sure you fill it up just enough to where it fills all the way around. Seal it up, and there's the head. And there you have it. Here's the head. Now the next part is the body. Next, we're going to go ahead and sew the stem together. Now this part is going to be relatively easy to do. However, flipping it inside out will be probably the trickiest part of the entire, I guess it would be the most difficult part. But make sure you sew all the way around using your stitches that you know. Use your green thread and sew all the way around. Now the other flower I have right here, I use two different color greens. The color green that you use for the flower does not matter too much, but like I recommend if you can use same color you can. It is up to you. The big part of the flower really needs to matter is really the head. That's where the bulk of the color is. The back part the green part does not really matter too much. Heck, if you're making yourself a gold flower, then what you'll have to do probably is use a bunch of gold. You'll probably need like probably 4 or 5 sheets of gold felt, at least 2 for the head, or at least at least 3 sheets for the head and the eyes, and then a fourth and a fifth, and probably a fourth or a fifth for the gold flower. You probably need at least 4 sheets of gold. Maybe actually another color, because how the gold flower is. And if you look at the different color scheme of it, you would need probably like a lighter or a darker colored gold, which you have to probably find. So you'll probably release. You'll have your work cut out with gold if you ever make a gold flower. If you do make one, I want to see what it looks like. And your sewing process. You should know the drill. Just make sure you seal it, because actually when you flip it inside out, it will probably make some holes, which you're gonna have to make sure you fix them. And when that does happen, just use some thread and then sew around again. Seal up those holes. It'll be much more apparent when you stuff the stem. As a matter of fact, you could actually use the stem layout and probably even the leaves for, say, a piranha plant plush. It's possible. Because the stem for a piranha plant plush is exactly the same as, well, a fire flower. It's a long stem. Though I believe, yeah, you would need at least probably more leaves maybe for the piranha plant stem. If you have a piranha plant plush or a picture of a piranha plant, you can take a look at it. As for the head, that you might need a different kind of plush. I don't know which one you would kind of need to look at. Maybe a shrunken down King Boo head, maybe, with removing the arms part, or maybe finding a chain chomp. Actually, a chain chomp would work best, because they are technically the most ball shaped. However, the best guy for a chain chomp plush has a more sealed mouth. But if you want to do a sealed mouth for the head of the piranha plant, then by all means do so. But I would recommend, at least if you can, if you find a chain chomp, try to find a way to find the head. Now, if you need to do this in a way, you might need to go ahead and shrink down the head a little bit, otherwise you might end up with a really awkward big head over a tiny body. Or increase the length of the stem if you're going to make a bigger head. Increase the stem size in proportion to the head of the plant. And actually, if anybody does have any ideas on how it would work or how it would look, you can comment down below, and maybe with enough support, I might attempt my own piranha plant plush, or at least maybe do a different variation of the piranha plant. Not like a regular piranha plant, possibly a bone piranha plant, or maybe even a fire, ice, maybe one of the other piranha plants you get in the series. And then just keep sewing at it like this all the way till it's all the way around. Leaving a spot open for the hole to flip inside out. Now, flip this inside out using actually either a Sharpie or a pen. I will say though, since this is a long stem, you're not going to have an easier time with this. But once you get the stem down, if anything, you put one part of it in there and then push it out the other way, you should be set. If you have two Sharpies, you should use both. And it took me a while to get it for the first, from my side. Right to the fire flower though. So, any future flowers you use for the stems, you should probably try to sew it in a much better spot. Actually, heck, I would say sew the ends and then sew half of the side, so it makes it much easier for you. And then here you are, here's the stem. Now you stuff it, and then you seal it. If you actually have two Sharpies, I'd recommend getting both and then just using the kind of push the stem. This will probably be the hardest part of the plush. Not unless you decide to go all, and if you want to go all the way, you could actually make your stem even longer. Like you could probably have a stem like extremely long. Why you would do that? Well, for humor. Or if you're actually trying to make like a bouquet, you could probably make multiple of them. Alright, here you go. Here's the stem. You can put a little bit more in there, but don't try to put too much in there. Actually, if anything, I did the stem much better this time around than the last time I did, because last time I did a different kind of sewing technique, and it didn't go as well. But here we go. Here's the stem, and now we seal it. It doesn't actually matter where what you do for the other stone type of thing, but your goal is to make sure you just seal it right here. Because then afterwards, we're going to go ahead and make sure we set up our stems as well as get our leaves. Now that you have the stem done, next thing you gotta do actually is to sew the stem onto the body. However, before we do that, we're gonna focus on one last part of the plush, the leaves. The left leaf and the right leaf, respectively. So we're gonna use the green thread and sew the leaves together. Both leaves, actually, well, both parts of the leaves. This is the last part of the plush. And the last combination we need the stuffing. You're gonna do this to go all the way around till you get near back here again, and then you're gonna flip it and then stuff it, and do the same on the other leaf. And now we flip these inside out. We flip both leaves inside out. This is the right leaf, and the other one, right over here is the left leaf. Alright, and here's all the stuffing right here. I got quite a bit of stuffing though. Hopefully I have enough left over for future projects. I've been using a whole lot of my stuffing though. Here we go. They're all stuffed now. And now finally we use the last bit of the green thread we have on this string right here, and we seal it up. I'll show you what it looks like momentarily when it's completed. And now all 4 pieces are now set. Now it's time to combine them all. Starting off, we're going to take the leaves. Now you have the left leaf and the right leaf. Now you got to put it just right to where you actually can seal it. If you look on my fire flower here, you'll notice how I've done the leaves. I'll show right here. You can try to do it like that, or do it however you can. I would recommend, if anything, if you can get the leaves in such a good spot, you can probably get it to work. You can probably even have the leaves as well, since the leaves can go any way you want. You can probably have the leaves go up like this, or have them go down like this. I would recommend like this, and then use needles to poke it in and lock it in place. Focus on one side of the leaf before you do the other side. And careful not to prick yourself. Probably should have made sure I mentioned that first, but that's pretty self-explanatory. So here we go. That's the one side of the leaf, and then you'll do the same thing as well on the other side. So it'll look like this. Then go all the way around to the first leaf on the left side or right side is done. Do the same on the other side. And look at them get to the last part of the plush. And now it is time to combine the top and the bottom together. Get yourself out just a reasonable amount right around here. Go ahead and put some pins in there to lock it in place. You might need multiple pins to make sure you get it just right. And then that's it. And there we have it. That's the ice flower alongside the fire flower. As you can see right here, I did kind of alter the leaves a little bit, but compared to the fire flower, it looks pretty good. And actually, as a matter of fact, the fire flower needs a little more stuffing on there, and it's very flimsy. The ice flower is a lot more sturdier as well. Also, I think I probably could move the stem over a little bit, but I recommend at least if anything to make your own attempt. share what you do. Hit the like button down below, subscribe for more content, and actually show me your flowers. Fire, ice, boomerang, cloud, like any of the flowers you want. Go try them out yourself. Actually, heck, if you actually make your own kind of flower variation, like it's very similar. Actually, the copy flower would probably look like this, the two flowers together with one stem. Something kind of like that in a way. That's it. See you guys next time. And there you have it. The fire flower. And ice flower. Stay golden.